Good Friday, YouTube. This is Tyre Metalhead Weatherman. Hopefully, you guys have had a good end to the work week. I know it's been a crazy week for a lot of us due to a multitude of reasons, whether it's work related, vehicle related, or in a lot of people's cases, Mother Nature related. So, from what I've seen over the last few days in severe weather, there hasn't been any fatalities from what I've heard in regards to the tornado outbreak this week, which is incredible. So big props to anyone in the weather community that was trying to put the word out for this, and then providing warning, whether it's providing warning in advance, out there chasing the storms, or being on local news stations, National Weather Service, you name it, played a part. Big props. But we need to keep that energy up because we do have more weather incoming this weekend, even. We're going to talk about the weekend forecast, and then if I have time, I might try to make a video tomorrow morning before I leave. But without further ado, let's get into it. So, lots changed over the last 24 hours since I've spoken with you all. Nothing's changed about today. We have a marginal risk, but no ongoing severe weather warnings. We'd have some frost and freeze advisories in the Ohio Valley and the Appalachian foothills and in parts of North Carolina. Do have a winter weather advisory, and eastern Iowa, maybe towards Des Moines, maybe a little bit east of there. And then, but the main thing, of course, with it being springtime, we're going to be talking about severe weather. As I said before, we have a marginal risk for today, but it looks like nothing is really going on there. So we're going to move forward to this weekend and then talk about the days after that. So we're going to move forward to Saturday, where we've been bumped up to a slight risk. So Orlando, Melbourne, Tampa, and Fort Myers, be on guard for some upcoming severe weather. Main threat with this is probably going to be wind and hail. You may see an isolated tornado out of this, but nothing magnanimous. Yeah, as I said, definitely the threat is wind and hail. You have a 15% chance of wind in all the areas that I had just mentioned. You have 5% of areas just north of Miami and just south of Jacksonville. Hail threat's a little bit more tamed. Orlando, Melbourne, you look like the areas of greatest interest for hail. That being said, let's go to day 3. We don't get a hazard outlook for day 3, as I've stated plenty of times before. So, but lo and behold, it's going to be the same areas. I don't think the hazards will be too much different. May take a brief look into that tomorrow if I have time before departing. But let's take a look at these forecast models, get an idea of what we might be working with on Saturday, and just taking a look at the forecast for everybody. So, oops, I don't know why we're this far ahead, but right now, at this current time, we have a nice little ridge of warm air beginning to build around the central U.S. and it's starting to work its way east. Expect that to continue through the weekend. So these are overnight hours, and then by the morning, early afternoon, there's our ridge starting to build through Saturday into Sunday. We're starting to get some of these 60s pushing back up into Nebraska and maybe even the southernmost parts of South Dakota. It's really warm in the southwest. Not a surprise here. But we are in a negative PNA, We are in a negative PNA, so the Midwest is going to be a little bit colder than average, whereas the Southeast or the East will be warmer than average. Although there still seems to be some lingering cold air that's trying to hang around the Long Island area and the interior Northeast. So keep moving this forward here. And it's going haywire on me. There we we go. Now we got that back under control. We'll look into Sunday. We'll see a cheeky little push of cold air. Doesn't last very long, but it will bring down the temperatures a little bit in the southeast. Meanwhile, in Texas, you guys are baking towards the panhandle. I do expect there to probably be some fire weather advisories put up within the coming day or so. We're getting some 80s, and probably somewhere up in here we're even getting some 90s. Southwest looks to have cooled down just slightly, but you still have this lingering cold air to the north. This might mean our next severe weather system, which we will talk about later, will be in the south. Will be a little bit further south. So we're at the end of our model run here. Let's take a look at the weather radar. Excuse me. Pollen has been, even though I'm not allergic to pollen, it's still causing me a little bit of trouble. Even I'm a landscaper, so I work in this stuff all day. So it becomes a little bit problematic, even if you aren't allergic, if you've been out in it for a minute. That, and I probably need to drink more water. I'll work on that. But in the meantime, we're gonna move on to the reflectivity map. This is what the radar could look like most throughout the weekend. Not a guarantee though. So we can see that we have some snowflakes in the interior northeast, a couple little areas of rain developing. Oh geez. Every time I move the mouse just a little bit. Just a little bit. There we go. Now, we get a little bit of snow in the Great Lakes in Wisconsin. And here's our troublemaker system right here that's going to spark off some severe weather for Florida. I think that this time frame that we're going to be looking at is going to be into the late evening hours and into the night. There's going to be some storms coming onshore, and like I said, the main potential is going to be wind. I'm not really concerned about a tornado threat, but I do think these storms will pack a punch because Florida is always warm during this time of year. We're talking 70s and 80s down there. So there's plenty of energy for this to work with. I mean, and you're right next to one of the best energy sources for severe weather on the planet, the Gulf of Mexico. So you have warm, moist air all around, and you have warm temperatures. Little upper air forcing, which is what this low pressure is right here, and kaboom. So we go into Sunday. Threat's a little bit more marginal. I think it's an earlier morning type of threat. You may get a few more that pop up in the afternoon, but I think for the most part you'll be done by that point in Florida. And then we look, and then meanwhile we have, no surprise here, our Great Lakes system is pushing to the east. May drop some snow squalls for the interior northeast, especially around the Great Lakes. Nothing new for you guys. Do have another little storm system right here that's going to drop a mix of rain and snow around the Dakotas. And then our next storm system, which is looking to cause some severe weather for next week, will be coming into play late Sunday night. So we push this forward to the end of the model run. Another snow system's working its way into the Great Lakes, and that's that. Let's take a quick look at some of these severe parameters just to make sure we've crossed our T's and dotted our I's. So this is what we're looking at right now in Florida. We have some impressive Cape values. We have values around 2,000 actually around here. Not a surprise considering the temperature and the dew points that we would be expecting around here. And I expect this to kind of meander for a while, given the fact, geez, oh boy, come on baby, there you go. I need to upgrade this computer, you guys, I'm sorry. So we're gonna watch this Cape move up and about Cape values are honestly more impressive today than what they're showing for tomorrow, but we're still getting Cape values of above 1500 and maybe closing in on that 2000 mark once again. Take another look at the surface base Cape using the NAM this time, since we can look a little further out, and then we'll also get to look into Sunday. So we'll go here. And the NAM kind of paints a slightly different picture. It's showing slightly higher Cape values later into Saturday, and ooh, look at that. We're getting some really high Capes, especially on the eastern half of Florida. We're starting to close into that 3,000 mark, which is pretty intense. So we'll keep moving this forward. Start to lose some of that energy through the overnight hours since we've lost our daytime heating. See what happens Sunday. We do get it to build back up in extreme southern Florida, but it's not quite what it used to be. And by Monday, things are dying out again, and we may have a little bit of a resurgence in severe weather then, but we'll go into detail about that in the next video. Before I go here, I'm actually gonna show you the days 4 through 8 right now, which is gonna be Monday and onward. And we're gonna see just what we're dealing with, because earlier today the National Weather Service upgraded several days up to a slight risk already. So we'll see exactly what we're dealing with here. So we're gonna start out with day 4. We're gonna start out with day 4. And we have a 15% chance of severe weather in areas like Dallas, Lufkin. Is that Lufkin? I'm trying to make sure I'm reading that right. Okay, I'm not sure why it's showing me day 7 for risk, but okay, there we go. Computer's been acting wonky all video. So Houston, San Antonio, Dallas, Austin, and Fort Worth, you're in play for this. Lufkin, Texas, you are as well. And maybe you want to watch Abilene as well. It starts to push its way into Shreveport and Alexandria, Louisiana as well. We'll talk about this more tomorrow, and then we might as well look at day 5. Day 5 looks like the same areas that's been getting hit the last 2 weeks. You're in play again. Birmingham, you're just outside of this. I wouldn't be surprised you end up getting caught up in this later on. And New Orleans, you're in this as well. Jackson, Mississippi, Greenville, Mississippi, you're just outside of this, but you're probably gonna be in play, because I do think this area will expand over time as we get more details. So we go to day 6, and then of course we pushed further to the east. Nashville, you're probably in play for this, even though you aren't in it yet. Chattanooga, you definitely are in play. Columbus, Georgia, you are. Birmingham, Alabama, my hometown, Atlanta. Shout out to my Atlanta folks. You guys are in this as well. Dothan, you're just outside of it, but but more than likely you will end up in it. Just keep an eye on the weather for Tuesday. And then we will look at day 7. The predictability is too low, and the same will go for day 8. So there's still plenty more active weather ahead. I'll be happy to guide you guys through it if you give me the chance. But that's all I have for you guys tonight. Tried to keep this video short and sweet, so that way you guys can enjoy your weekend. Do appreciate you guys watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Try to get this word out to the people that need it. But this is all I got for you guys tonight. This has been Tired Metalhead Weatherman. I hope to see you in the morning, and if not, I will see you Sunday evening. You guys have a good night.